Antigua by Phaedon Paris was first launched in 2013, and the nose behind it is Pierre Guillaume. It is classified as a fruity chypre. It comes in a 100ml bottle only in an eau de parfum concentration and will cost around £95. Antigua opens with a massive dose of an aroma chemical called paradisamide. Now this nifty little molecule is a creation of the Givaudan Corporation, and basically what this aroma chemical does is it mimics the smell of tropical fruits. So in this opening we have a dense fruit accord that consists of grapefruit, guava and cassis, and alongside that we have separate notes of bergamot and lime, and the whole thing comes together to create this really nice dense tropical fruit accord. Now this smells like the whole of each of those fruits. It doesn't smell like the zest or the rind or the juice. It smells like if you picked up a fruit in its entirety and held it to your nose. That's what each of the notes in the overall tropical fruit accord smell like, and every now and then one will pop out from within this dense fruit accord, and it is really nice. And also tucked away in there we have a cassis note as well, which again is created by the paradisamide aroma chemical, and that gives a nice sort of alcoholic blackberry-ish feel to the opening too. And the fruit accord also has a honeyed element to it as well, and the opening of the fragrance lasts for hours on my skin. Then maybe around the 4-hour or so mark it transitions into more of a musky vanillic peach concoction with just a hint of lime and rose to it as well, and maybe a touch of fig leaf just to green things out a little. The mid notes in this fragrance are nice, however the musk in this is more of I guess a traditional style musk, and nowadays a lot of fragrances that say they contain musk, what they mean is more of I guess a laundry detergent kind of a smell, like a clean musk. And the mid has, under the right conditions, it gets a little bit much for me. There's a slight bio smell to it, which I do find a little bit off-putting at times. However, other people around me have smelled this part of the fragrance and they've had nothing negative to say about it, so perhaps I'm just being a little bit paranoid. But the times when the peach isn't musky, what I will get is like the smell of a warm peach that's been left out in the sun, and it has a vanillic element to it, and that's actually not bad at all. Now the fragrance eventually dries down into a sadly forgettable cedar and vanilla base with a kiss of vetiver and the ghost of the original opening fruit accord. Overall, Antigua by Phaedon is very nice. However, I do have a few gripes with the fragrance, and I just want to talk about them right now. From a design point of view, I'm not a big fan of this. That opening blast is very, very heavy on the paradisamide, and on paper and on fabric it smells amazing and it'll hook you in and it'll seduce you. On skin it is nice as well, but then after that I feel like things go downhill a little bit in terms of the quality of the ingredients used. The vanilla note smells synthetically cheap. It's a note that I smelt before in other designer fragrances, and also there is nothing in the way of base notes this. I'm not a fan of what it finally dries down into hours after application. It's quite boring and stale, and there's no life or soul or emotion to it. Also, one final thing, when worn in cool temperatures, upon initial application I do get a little hint of perfumer's alcohol, and that cheapens the experience of wearing a niche fragrance for me a little bit. But when I wear it in the hot conditions, and I believe that this is primarily a warm weather fragrance, I do not get that hit of perfumer's alcohol because the dense, thick, heavy top notes mask it. But these flaws are minimal. Unless you are absolutely obsessed with the way that things smell like I am, you're not going to detect it, so that might be a bit of a moot point. Overall, Antigua by Phaedon Paris is a great fragrance for the summertime. It is a nice take on a modern fruity chypre, and overall I enjoy it, even if it is ever so slightly flawed in its design. But as I mentioned earlier, unless you are absolutely obsessed with the way things smell, you're not going to get that, and it's not going to bother you. So, final ratings for the fragrance. Longevity on this was great. I got around 14 hours in the total lifespan of the fragrance. So longevity, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Projection on this was solid for around the 8-hour mark, after which it settled in a lot closer to my skin, so projection gets a 4 out of 5. Sillage on this was a little bit lacking. I thought the sillage would be a bit more potent than what it actually was, so the sillage gets a 3.5 out of 5. And for the overall smell, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 as well. So that's been my little review of Antigua Eau de Parfum by Phaedon Paris. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Cheers for watching and take care.